Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
This is not a drill.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Is that all you got?
Let's begin now.
What up? Oh, for sure.
Hi everybody, how are you? I've got back from London literally just a couple of hours ago, down there yesterday. The wedding of Mr. and Mrs. Assange. Don't know whether she's going to take his surname actually. Maybe that's a question should have been asked, I don't know. Brave new world, isn't it? With used to be the given thing that the woman would take the surname, but it's not the case anymore. So I don't know whether it is Mr. and Mrs. What is the protocol now? I don't know. Hi Kinky, how are you? See you again. These strange times, says Pirate Asylum. So didn't go live yesterday. Yeah, it was a wedding, so I wanted to talk to my friends and try and maybe make the best of the occasion, and we did. It was a good time was had by all, despite the circumstances, of which I'll go into a little bit. Now probably is not the time. It's a celebration of two people's love, and I think that's what we need to concentrate on. I sent the footage that I had to Consortium News, and they put together a lovely little montage, and I'll share that now for you. Excuse me, everybody. We seem to have a technical problem. Let's go into studio mode quickly and try and figure this out. There you go. Sorry, something obviously changed. I do apologise.
Jesus Christ. Hey, 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 hooray! Hey, hey, hooray! Hey, hey, hooray! Let's hope they release Julian soon. So Stella and Julian can be together. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange! Free Julian Assange!
Que gracinha.
Congratulations! Congratulations, Stella!
Thank you guys. I don't know what to say. I'm very happy. I'm very sad. I know, really. I love being in this home. I wish you were here.
How was the ceremony, Stella, we'll get him out.
You know what we're going through is cruel and inhuman. The love that we have for each other carries us through this situation and any other little time. And he's the most amazing person in the world.
I know, Stella.
He's wonderful. free.
You don't have to tell us, please.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So there you go. Thanks so much for Consortium News for putting that together. We'll maybe talk more in depth about the intricacies and the stuff that's gone on with that, but I think the best thing for us all to do now is to just, you know, be really happy here that despite everything and despite what Stella said they're going through is cruel and inhumane, it is a joyous occasion when two people find love in that situation, don't you think? Through everything, still finds a way. It's kind of beautiful. I know. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. And it was a beautiful occasion. And I don't want to sour it by any negativity. So I'm not going to be negative about it. And I didn't bring up any negative about Julian and the day. I just didn't want to sour it at all. There are, as you can see on Consortium News, there are some great speeches by Chris Hedges there, 15 minutes long, and an interview with Craig Murray. And Chris Hedges, Craig wasn't allowed in as a witness because they said, ridiculously, that him being in the prison was a threat to the prison somehow. I asked him, you know, what policy is this they're citing? And there's no policy. You know, this is, they are sure, the people around him, that they're trying to, well, they don't want any reporting on Julian's condition. He's had a stroke. He's lost lots of weight. He's obviously not well. Who would be through this? So I don't, like I say, go and watch the videos. Consortium News have done a brilliant job of trying to put that together as best as possible. There might be other videos. I've sent them lots of footage. So, yeah, go over there and follow them. They do great work. What I want to talk about really in this stream is just, you know, and concentrate on this part of the videos to just concentrate on the love here. It finds a way, you know, and they're not going to win. How can they when that they're not going to win? But damn, are they putting up a fight? Yeah? So Julian and Stella, and I congratulate them. I think find love in these cruel and inhumane. Congratulations, Mr. Assange. I totally agree. How are you, everybody? There's more, obviously, that I recorded on the day. Go over to Consortium News. I am going to stay upbeat. Private Asylum, I am, because it was a great occasion yesterday. It really was. There's something I do want to talk about from yesterday, and I'm going to go live either. Yeah, got a video here that I clipped up. Ready? Yeah, there it is. Now I'm going to have to turn the volume down on this as well. You're not going to be able to hear the volume because there's music playing, and if there's music playing, YouTube will take the video down. It's someone to lean on, and I'll probably just a touch of it. I think I can get away with a few seconds so you can hear the volume of it. Go to the video. Okay, so that's really all I can show you about the volume. As you can see there, it's not a high volume at all. I just can't play it at the moment. I'll probably have to clip it up in a way that won't get me a copyright strike. I know, it's strange, isn't it? Like, we can't talk anymore. We have to skirt all these rules that tech companies give us. Tech companies that, by the way, said the Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. Do you remember that? But I just want to show you this video. Now, we're waiting for Stella to come out. There's been speeches and what have you. We're trying to have a good time. It's a wedding. And watch what happens. I'm going to point the guy out when he comes into screen. I can't believe I've got to turn this down. Oh, bollocks to it. Yeah, give me a copy. Hold on. Watch him. See, one of the guys with the right. This guy here now is coming into screen. There was some activity. We started dancing and what have you, and there was some activity with the police. So I knew something was going to happen. So I started filming, and this guy comes into shot. And watch what he does. Watch him where he goes. In there. Right. You can see he goes straight to, there is where the music was coming from. That's where the music was playing. And really, that's all I want to show you, because that's all I just wanted to give you the layout of what's happened there. We started to have some fun. And the police moved in and stopped it. Immediately. Immediately. They lined up either side of that road that you saw. I stepped out in the road to cross the road at one stage to the other side to actually speak to one of my friends. And a policeman stopped me from crossing the road. I'm like, I'm crossing the road. As you can see here, this is Belmarsh is just there. The gates to Belmarsh are just there on the right. This is the main road over there, and it's coming in. And it's like there's like a 50-yard road, and there's the gates. The car park to Belmarsh is about 2 acres. Honestly, I think it's about 2 acres. It's about the size of 2 football pitches. Okay? Now, as soon as the music started getting a bit loud, and as soon as people started dancing, the police moved in. And I've got to watch the rest of this footage, otherwise, you know, I've got to make sure that I'm getting it right. But as I remember it, the police moved in at that stage and cordoned us off. From even, like I say, I tried to cross the road and they tried to stop me. And at that point, the crowd, you know what? They started getting a bit pissed off with these police. And when I say the crowd, I mostly mean me. They started getting shouted at. And you can see why. I spoke to my friend Joe Brack. I've had him on my podcast. He's the Julian Assange Defence Committee police liaison officer. The police liaison officer rang him up. I think Joe said a couple of hours before this. I think he said a couple of hours before it. Why? Why? Joe was like, why are you calling me now? Why didn't you call me last week? And we could have arranged something. What are you going to do now? We got there and everything was already set up. You know, where's the liaison there? I just want you to understand here, just here off screen, is a car park about 2 acres in size. These police, right, have stuck us outside the gates and caused an obstruction. By sticking people outside the gates, they've caused the obstruction. Inside that, just inside the gate on the right-hand side, this is why I've got to go through it and show you the footage. But just inside the gate on the right-hand side, there's the court. And I think my friend told me it's the court that Pinochet had his trial in. I think it's inside Belmarsh, that one. You could have had us in there, inside a separate car park. But no. They put them outside the car park. right? Split us up with a road in between going in, so we were causing an obstruction, as you can see, and then use the excuse to cordon us all off and treat us like fucking animals. Now, I've had a go at the police a lot on this channel, I really have, over the years, and there's a reason for it. Up until I started doing this, about 5 years now I've been doing it, but up until I've started doing this, every single interaction I have ever had with the police was wonderful. And as far as I can remember, every single interaction since, even in the last 5 years, with the police, other than the Metropolitan Police of London, has been wonderful. But every single interaction I have had with these assholes has been absolutely disgusting. I mean, think about it. We've got a protest. There's a police liaison officer there. Why aren't they coming to the Julian Assange, the liaison person? Why aren't they coming to that person and saying, a week before, okay, so this is the setup. How can we police you? What's the best way for us to police you? We realise that you're doing a service here. They could have acted like that. And honestly, if they were aware of the situation, I think they would be kissing those people's boots. Not cordoning them off and pushing them aside and treating them like vermin. These people acted like dogs yesterday, honestly. These policemen and women acted like dogs. And you could see which one was the chief dog, the one who was basically pointing the orders out, the one in the white shirt. Like I say, I've got the footage of this. Pointing and, get off the road, turn the music down. That's what the guy was doing there. Went over there, told the guy to turn the music down because people were dancing. And as soon as that happened, started antagonising the crowd. That, right there, what you saw is 10 seconds of Priti Patel's policing bill that's coming. If your annoyance or in any way, we can stop it. We can stop anything. We are going to police you. You! Yes, you. You standing up for justice. You standing up for truth. You standing up for what's right. You standing up for democracy. We are going to police you. If you're in the Metropolitan Police, go to your boss. Show him this last few minutes of footage. Explain to him that this person, every single interaction he's had with the Metropolitan Police has been disgusting over the last 5 years. And he's white. What is the matter with you? The people outside those gates, you should be fucking thanking them and kissing their feet. But instead you treat them like they're the criminals. Go fuck yourselves. You work for us. Honestly, it's been winding me up for the last day the way the Metropolitan Police any event. It's disgusting. It really is. It's disgusting the way they police anything. And people wonder, why is it that the Metropolitan Police are raping and killing women? Why is it that the Metropolitan Police are strip searching 15-year-old girls on their period because they smell like weed? Well, I'll tell you why, shall I? Because none of them have got a fucking brain in their head and they think that we are the criminals. When the criminals are the ones who put Julian Assange in jail. They're nothing but hired thugs, the Metropolitan Police. That's what they are. Hired thugs. Prove me wrong. Show me the next protest I go to. Change your attitude with the protesters. Be friendlier. When there's a protest, speak to them a week before. Say, is this the best place for the protest? Or would you be happier 30 yards inside the perimeter in a separate thing where the court is. But no, they had to police it in a certain way. So, I mean, look at, you saw Stella, a line of police in front of her. A fucking wedding, and they act like that. A wedding! What do you think they're going to act like when there's a riot? I tell you what they're going to act. They're going to turn tail and run because they're all pussies. That's what's going to happen. Honest to God, they wind me up. Okay. I'm a white guy, and I can see how disgusting you are. And I can see how racist you are as well. So I know that however badly you've treated me over the last 5 years, times it by 100 if my skin was brown. You can see why I didn't go live yesterday, can't you? You can see why I wouldn't go live outside those gates. I was mad as hell at some stage. I was trying desperately to keep a lid on everything. My own country, this is. So, Madeline Albright died. In a sharp left turn. And obviously all the media are talking about how she was a trailblazer and how she was the first female foreign secretary. And all progressives can talk about is how Madeline Albright well said that killing 500,000 Iraqi children sanctions worth it. Yeah, said that. Now I want to be fair here, and I always say this, okay? I'm trying to be fair to people. Like I try to be fair to the Metropolitan Police, all right? And I will be. I promise you I will be. I've got a video that I will be doing on the Metropolitan Police and their policing and the overall policing, and I will be fair on them. But when you see them act like Rottweilers, I mean, honestly, that's all they were, was Rottweilers. And as soon as people started giving them some home truths, you could see their faces were, holy shit, they didn't even know what was going on, honestly. They think that we're the bad guys. It's incredible. I'll try and be fair with Madeline here. And I don't think this is a fair question, and it's not a question that I would ask. I've got to be honest.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I mean, it's putting her on the spot there. There's no real good answer to that, is there? There's no real answer there. You know, you're not really getting to find out who and what's going on. But, I mean, she could say no. That would be an option, you know. And even if she didn't mean it, she could say no, of course not. Of course, killing 500,000 isn't worth it. But, and then go on. But she said this.
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
Let me play it again.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
We have heard that
half a million children killed by Iraqi sanctions, according to the United Nations report back then when she... That's her answer. I want people to understand here. More people died, more children died from sanctions. I think more people as well, but more children died from sanctions in Iraq than Hiroshima or Hiroshima, or however you say that. When those children died, I know this is a bit macabre, and I've just been talking about a wedding, but when those children died in Hiroshima, most of them died like that instantaneously. They suffered nothing at all. It was just bright light, that was it. Many of them obviously died of radiation poisoning, etc., and that's awful. But imagine being starved to death by United States and NATO sanctions. United States sanctions. Imagine being starved to death. Imagine you watching your child starve to death as a result of some country far, far away that says your government is bad. Why? Because they won't let have a pipeline through the country, or they won't have their oil sold on the dollar, or they won't sell their potassium or whatever. That it's going to be they're going to die slowly and in pain. Those 500,000 children died in pain, in agony, from starvation, with their families around them, watching them, and in most cases dying themselves as well. They weren't obliterated in the blink of an eye, a nuclear holocaust. No. Or when a few weeks or days later from the radiation poisoning. No, they suffered immensely. There's a report from Jeffrey Sachs, if I can pull it up. The sanctions that the United States have put on Venezuela have caused, I think it was 40,000 deaths. Jeffrey Sachs is a genius. Yeah. Economic sanctions as collective punishment, the case of Venezuela. 40,000 was I think it was it 400, was it 40 or 400? Something is telling me now 40,000. US sanctions killed 40,000 Venezuela since 2017. That's the upshot of the report. These are, the United States sanctioned the CLAP program. If you don't know what the CLAP program is, I've talked about this with John McAvoy on my channel. You should go back and watch my interview with him. The CLAP program is sort of Venezuela's food program for the poor, the indigenous. The United States sanctioned them, try and turn them against him. And that's what sanctions are. They're an attempt to punish the poorest people, to create a regime change. Now, I'm not, like I say, I've said this before, I'm no lawyer. But that sounds like collective punishment to me. How about you? It sounds like collective punishment to me. And that, according to the 4th Geneva Convention, is a war crime. Article 33. Under the 1949 Geneva Conventions, collective punishment is a war crime. How is sanctioning the Venezuelan CLAP program not collective punishment. When George Bush was asked what basically led him to thinking that he was okay to go into Iraq, his answer was, I wish I had that queued up actually, his answer was, the lawyers said we could. What if the lawyers said, you can't sanction people, that's a war crime? You can't hold nations, people in nations responsible for the people who govern them. Because those people, if the United States is correct, for instance, and and Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela is a dictator, a brutal dictator who, is all the bad things that the press say he is, he could be. But by charges, who are we to point fingers anywhere? Get our house in order first, But I'm sure he's not, by the way. The evidence I've seen is very unfair, the way the West has been portraying him, especially their electoral. But if he's the dictator, the bad dictator that the West say that he is, why are we hurting the people underneath him? Surely we should be helping them. If that is any of our goddamn business, I don't know. But surely, especially when we're causing all this death and destruction all over the world, and by we I mean the West, not me and you watching this, it's not us. What if we lived in a world where you couldn't do that? What if we lived in a world where siege warfare, which is what sanctions are, what if we lived in a world where they were actually crimes? I mean, they already are, really, right there as far as I'm concerned. But what if we enforce them? What do you reckon? Madeline Albright, I suppose the question is a fair question when you think about it. I mean, she's presenting it. There's no real good answer to that question. But when you've killed 500,000 kids, is there? Is there a good answer to anything? When you've killed 500,000 children? Probably not. I, for one, won't lose any sleep. I'm sure Anna Kasparian will be crying in her pillow for the last 2 days after the tongue bath she gave her. But these sanctions have got to stop. Immediately. Everywhere. These wars have got to stop. And that's what sanctions are. They're acts of war. Right now, if you actually look at the math, the United States is sanctioning about a third of the planet. How long before they start sanctioning you? How long before they start turning on you, sanctioning you, your country? By the way, policey men, you are still. How long before the government come and take your pensions? Would you be, acting like those protesters outside the prison were dumb then? They were brought in from all over, so none of them knew each other, so they followed orders like good dogs. Thank you, Mr. Methuselah. I enjoy your shows, he says in the super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. There is one other thing I want to talk about tonight. It's a bit of a quick one. But this, I went back and had a look. And I think a lot of people have been going back and having a look at just some of the stuff that Joe Biden's been saying about Hunter Biden's laptop. And so Hunter Biden's laptop, if you don't know, it's been, yeah, as we knew at the time, as we knew but couldn't say anywhere at the time, it's real. And Hunter Biden, that laptop with all those salacious things on it, is true. Now, I'm going to go in more in depth as to what's on there, but I'm going to avoid the drug side of things. I have to be consistent here, and I have to, okay, drug problems are drug problems, they're mental health issues, you know, it's a health issue. Do what he wants with his, however, he gets it. I'm more interested in the corruption. And obviously, you know, Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma, getting $1 million a year been charged. Because, you know, he's such an energy guru, I don't know. Yeah, that was in Ukraine. Been in the news recently, hasn't it? Anyway, it came out just before the election in 2020. And obviously Joe Biden won that election by a squeaky. And we all know what happened afterwards on January the 6th. But a week, I think it was a week, was it a week, 10 days before, this story came out. And it was the New York Post that published it. New York Post, one of the oldest publications in America. And Twitter suppressed it. Twitter actually locked the New York Post out of their account and said it was Russian disinformation. All of this stuff on the laptop. Now, obviously, there were pictures on there that the media concentrated on of Hunter taking drugs and Hunter doing this and blah, 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 blah. Who's obviously President Biden's son. I'm not interested in any of it. I'm really not. I'm not. I'm interested in the corruption, though. And the statement, hold 10 for the big guy. You may remember I've previously talked about that. People have hypothesized that the big guy is 10% for his dad. Don't know about that. I can't prove that, but we need to look into it. And this story was suppressed and said it was Russian disinformation. And 50 ex and I think it was ex security analysts said that it was fake. And these included Clapper, Brennan, all the likely subjects, all the people who gave you all the spin about Russiagate, all the people who said that we had moderate confidence or high confidence that Russia did blah, 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 blah in their attack on 2016. It's just a bunch of baloney, it really is. And 50 of them said that this was Russian disinformation, citing no evidence whatsoever. There's a video of Clapper being asked at the time, I think it was on CNN, those, yeah, one of those channels. Yeah, it was CNN, and he said this is from the Russian playbook. This is classic from the Russian playbook. We're hearing that recently, aren't we? About these allegations that they're saying, oh, this is clearly from the Russian playbook. That they're saying that the United States is going to do this in Ukraine, and they're doing these biolabs in Ukraine. It's from the Russian playbook. I and many other people would like to see this Russian playbook. If you have it, I'd like to, go over it, because at the moment, the track record that you've got when you say that this is from the Russian playbook is absolutely rubbish, and everything that you're trying to hide is true. That's the track record. And right now, you're saying it's from the Russian playbook for Russia to say that the United States was going to do a false flag. In one of the debates, Trump brought this up. This is glorious, this.
That's true about.
This is glorious because Biden stops the person who's moderating this. Trump is clearly trying to bait him. And Biden stops the moderator from moving on. The moderator wants to move past. The moderator wants to help Joe Biden here. And Joe Biden stops the moderator to say this. Listen.
Russia, Ukraine, China, other countries, Iraq,
if this is true, then he's a corrupt politician.
All right.
So don't give me the stuff about how you're this innocent baby. Joe, they're calling you a corrupt politician.
Nobody-
President Trump, I want to stay on the issue of race. We're talking about the issue.
Laptop from hell.
President Trump, we're
Nobody.
talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
And I
you've
have
just
to respond to that.
Please,
Because look,
very
there
quickly.
are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what this
You see what I mean? She was trying to move past it, and he stopped her and said, "No, I want to lie. I want to lie here. I'm going to lie. You stop. I want to lie." Listen.
We're talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
and I
you've
have
just
to respond to that.
Please,
Because look,
very quickly.
there are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what this he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the five former heads of the CIA, both parties say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
And
You
that's
gotta be-
exactly what.
Is this
that's
where you're
exactly
going?
what.
This
was
is
told.
where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You
okay?
have to be kidding. Here we
Mr.
go
President?
again with Russia.
How bad have you got to be that you make that guy look like he's the honest, uncorrupted one? I mean, I'm just calling it as I see it here. That is a blatant lie that he's done on the debate stage. He's got it backed up by 50 of his pals in, quote, intelligence, in the intelligence community, who have said that it's straight from the Russian playbook, it's Russian disinformation, and everything on it turned out to be true. All true. How, if that came out, I mean, the New York Post had, like, their Twitter account, they were banned from their Twitter account for 10 days. They couldn't even, like, this is one of the oldest publications. You can imagine, like, if they did that to The Guardian over here. Well, some people would probably say, yeah, that'd be great. Please do that. But, of course, no censorship anywhere. But they couldn't log into their account. Right in the lead up to the election. In the lead up to the election. How different would it have been? And there's an overarching point here, and everybody has been obviously talking, oh, Trump would have won, whatever. No. There's a bigger deal here, actually, if you look at it. Think about it. These intelligence officials, these 50 intelligence officials, have been outed now. We know that whenever they come out and say something's going to happen, it's rubbish. They never ever provide any evidence for you. They just say our intelligence goes blah, and MSNBC and CNN go blah, and repeat it as if it's fact. As if, you know, the messages come from God and somebody who never lied to them ever. These 50 people, these 51, I think it is, ex-officials, are not only lying now about Ukraine and Russia right now. They've lied about the laptop in the past, but also about so much more. Russiagate was one big lie, but didn't it sow the seeds to where we are now? Didn't it sow the seeds to where we are now, where they're cancelling Tchaikovsky? And, you know, the Karl Marx room? And the Russian dancers from Only Strictly Come Dancing. It's like, are you kidding me? You've cancelled the Russian dancers. Who are dirty old men in their 50s in foul marriage and miserable marriages going to ogle over on a Saturday night? Oh, you just have to go for the last from Bristol, won't you? Why don't we just round all these Russians up and put them intern them in camps? Have we tried that in the past? Please don't think that this is any sort of tacit approval of Donald Trump or anything that he's done. It's not. But when he's the guy in the room that looks like he's the one that's told the truth and he's the uncorrupted one, then you've got serious problems. I mean, serious problems. And when you've got a media that is hiding, just hide it. Whenever the media did come out, you've got tech companies. I mean, you know, the tech companies then pretty much doing interference for you. Who told Twitter? Who told who at Twitter that that was Russian disinformation? And what did they provide as evidence that it was? You've got to start asking these questions. Because we can see here that these intelligence firms in America and the people who are in them, unfortunate elements within them, are not telling the truth and are not above board. And they, over there in America, are the people who are telling these tech platforms which one of us can say what about what to who. They are deciding what we can say to each other. If you'd have talked about the Hunter laptop thing on YouTube back during the election, YouTube account banned. How many YouTube accounts were banned over this? How many YouTube... I'd like to know that, actually. I should probably ask YouTube that. How many YouTube accounts were banned? How many social media accounts were banned for spreading stuff about Hunter Biden's laptop? How many people were told by tech companies, you know that tongue in your head? Yeah, you don't get to say it. You don't get to use it. How many tech platforms in America said to people all over the world, yeah, that tongue in your head, you don't get to use it. You're banned. Because they wanted to talk about the Hunter Biden laptop story, which, as we know now, is true. If you have... It's not just the media now. This is the thing. The media, well, I mean, they've failed at their jobs, but they've become, you know, gatekeepers to power. But now, they're not the publishers, are they? The media are not the ones who get your attention anymore. They're not where you get your information from. You don't get your information from The Guardian or the BBC or the New York Times or the Post or... there's a chart somewhere. I really set this up a little. But hey, I've only just... I was on a train about 2 hours ago. There's a chart, I'm sure it's on Twitter, how most people now are getting their news from Meta. Meta is first, Facebook, and then Google. I think a fourth is Twitter. So it's not the news companies now. It's not the New York Times, the Washington Post. That's not the people who are feeding the masses information. Now it comes from the tech platform. And if the tech platforms and the corporations are controlled and being told what to do by ex-members of the CIA and the FBI and the NSA, how do you think free speech is going to go in the future? I'm sure there's an amendment, it's Second Amendment, free amendments to the Constitution. There's something like that over America. They keep crowing about it, but I never see them abiding by it. They should probably look into it. Okay. Thanks very much, everybody. So much for... Love will win in the end. Hate is a much lower energy. Punch up, not left, right. Punch up, not left, right. It's a class war. Wake up. What a great comment and what a great name for a guy. Punch up, not left, right. It's a class war. Wake up. Says this. Love will win in the end. Totally agree, mate. Thanks very much for everybody who thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everybody who supports independent media. And let me just check Make sure that no, I'm good. All right, that's everything. Thanks very much, everybody. I'll be back either tomorrow or Saturday with a fair or a fairer assessment on the Metropolitan Police and maybe just some constructive criticism other than what I saw yesterday and every other time I've seen them, to be honest, the Metropolitan Police. They're a shambles. They treat the public like they're criminals, every single one of them, and they do it without fail, all of them. I haven't had a good interaction with a single member of the Metropolitan Police. Imagine how many interactions I've had over the last 4 or 5 years with the police, considering all the protests I've been on. I can't remember. They were all right, I suppose. They weren't bad, to me at least, with Extinction Rebellion. And I remember talking to the one guy, one policeman on Extinction Rebellion, and he was telling me that when it comes to protest, this is about as good as we can ask for. Which is kind of incredible considering how many of them got arrested. You know? But yeah, I'll be back maybe tomorrow, probably Saturday, with a more lengthy assessment on the Metropolitan Police than what they. Obviously, it is not surprising to me that there are members of the Metropolitan Police that will, when asked, strip search a 15-year-old girl on her period, tell her to kneel down on the floor and cough because she smells like weed. It does not surprise me at all. From what I see, from what I saw yesterday, they're nothing more than dogs who were taking orders. Really it. And as somebody said in the chat, that's unfair to dogs because dogs are loyal. Police need lockers at work, otherwise they steal from each other. Something to think about, isn't it? All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Free Julian Assange. Congratulations to Stella and Julie. I really hope. I just hope. Thanks very much, everybody. Take care.